Got a few people watching on the stream, so we're doing something a little bit different. We're if you've heard of the Simulated Airspace podcast, I have about 9 episodes on the Aviation Plus channel. So if you're interested in watching our live stream today, please stick around. We'll be live for a little while, trying to get people to get on the kind of get on the channel, get on the live stream, see if we can get them to kind of interact and go in the chat. So for now, we're going to be silent for a little while, getting everything set up. So if you want to preemptively get your questions in, and we can answer them as the podcast goes on. But hopefully, stick around, and we'll be back soon. But glad to have you all here, and hopefully, we'll have a good discussion today.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, everyone. Right.
Hey everyone, I know I gave a little introduction a little earlier, but I think we have a few new people here, about 11 people here. So we are doing a live stream of the podcast. If you have not heard of the Simulated Podcast or Simulated Airspace podcast, it's a podcast about BMS and DCS and other aviation related stuff. It is me, Prime, Aviation Plus, also accompanied by Fiscus as always. So he'll do his introduction here soon. But we're trying to start in about 5 minutes or so. So, like I said before, just put in your your chat questions in the chat. We'll get with them later on. But we do want to talk about Falcon BMS, DCS, and other aviation related stuff later on down the line. But go ahead and introduce yourself, Fiscus, here shortly.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fisgus. Happy to have this podcast on a different format today, and curious to see how it goes. Um, I I have a small YouTube channel called Fisgus Fighties, where I upload some tutorials and some other types of videos. But yeah, hopefully, folks will be joining us and either on chat with your questions and comments and whatever, or even joining us in the Discord, and we can have like a little mini interview with everyone. So yeah, if you don't be shy and come join us, come talk to us. Be happy to have you.
Yep. So give us about 5 minutes or so. I know there's no sound in the intro video. This is like kind of our pilot episode of doing live stream. I haven't live streamed in like 3 years, so be a little patient. It'll be better later on with music and stuff. But this is our first time, and we'll get going here shortly. So just stick around, put your questions in the chat, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, please bear with us. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Simulated Airspace. We're doing something a little different. As you can see, we are live streaming. So I have our Discord in the chat on YouTube, that is. On Twitch, it's a little bit different, but I have most of our people are on YouTube. So go ahead and join the Discord server. We will put you in a waiting room and then we'll allow you to come in and talk with us and ask your questions. But in the meantime, feel free to put questions in the chat and we'll answer them later on. But going to go ahead and start the stream here. Go ahead and have Fiscus give his little intro to everyone, and then we'll go ahead and start talking about Falcon BMS, DCS, and other aviation related stuff, and anything else we want to talk about. So go ahead, Fiscus.
Hey everyone, it's Fiscus from Fiscus Fides, where I have some tutorials and other content about Falcon BMS and other sims. Looking forward to this little experiment we got going on today. Hopefully it goes all well and everyone enjoys it.
Yes, as you said, it is an experiment. It is our first time as the podcast doing a live stream, but it's also my first time doing a live stream in about 2.5 years or something. So this is our first time. There's going to be some bugs and some learning curves and some learning stuff that we'll do next time. But go ahead and give us be patient, and we'll definitely keep doing this as much as we can. But we still do the recorded versions of it, but we wanted to do something a little bit different as episode 10. So if you're not familiar with the Simulated Airspace, I do have 9 other episodes on the channel. So if you want in your spare time, go ahead and check that out. It is also on Spotify. So if you want to download them and listen to them on the airplane, that is also an option. So I'm looking at, we don't have too many specific questions in the chat right now, but like I said, if you have any questions or want to talk about something, go ahead and put it in the chat. But in the meantime, we'll just start on a few topics that we have in mind. So I know that let's go ahead and start with the clouds, because I know there's some cloud stuff going around on Falcon Lounge and the BMS Reddit page, and there's a couple like new volumetric clouds for Falcon BMS, and that's really exciting when it comes to how BMS is with the, I think they have like a 2D cloud type of thing where it'll spin if you go over it in a certain direction, and there's actually this a 2D sprite, I think they call it, so it's just a 2D like wallpaper that they have it. And we're I'm excited. I'm actually at the beta, but Fiscus, have you seen some of the 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 pictures that people have sent out for the clouds?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it looks incredible. Like the BMS guys, I think it's safe to say, I think it's not too much of an exaggeration to say that they've outdone themselves again. Uh, for the stuff that I've seen, and I'm not in the beta, but from the stuff that I've seen, it's very very impressive. And yeah, the BMS team again doing their uh, putting maybe I shouldn't go into this, but yeah, doing some things that other entities take ages to go when they're funded.
Yeah, it
I
takes
I
sometimes it takes a long time to get it all set up. But I did see like I know well, I did see a comment that said someone or BMS is copying DCS when it comes to the clouds. But I mean, what does that
How
even
so?
mean? Like, what does that even mean? Because it's like it's a cloud, and I'm pretty sure I don't create video games, but I'm pretty sure there's like some type of area where you can get the clouds, and I don't think it's copywritten or anything, but you can get the clouds and how they use them, and they put it in your simulator, and you could just use it because Microsoft Flight Simulator has the same type of volumetric clouds, DCS has the same type of clouds. I think IL2 they have volumetric clouds, but they're different. But I don't know how that really works, the hierarchy of different clouds, buckets that people get clouds from. But it's really nice to have volumetric clouds in a simulator because you don't want to have the clouds rotating and all that stuff.
Yeah. Um, Prime, how about I would like to suggest, how about we get our first guest in here and he can talk about his opinion or their opinion of the clouds and BMS.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the
All
clouds
right.
right there.
Let me get on Mr. Or Miss whatever, Mr. or Mrs. however they go by, cool soda. So
Yeah,
bring him
cools.
on. Good afternoon, cool soda. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing good. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, it's been a while, cools.
Yeah, it really has been. It's my pleasure. I'm really glad I've been doing this podcast. I must say, I enjoy every single episode that you guys put out.
Thanks. Let's appreciate that. So we were just talking about the clouds and BMS. We would like to, since this is an open to the public type of episode, we would like to hear your perspective of the clouds, your experience with the clouds, if you have one, if you have any, the new clouds and BMS. I mean,
Sure. I've only really seen the new clouds through the posts that the gracious devs have been putting. I must say, it looks very pretty. Now, in terms of my opinion, I'm very excited. Now, before I continue, I come from the camp where I'm not really a big graphics person. For me, I care more about the fidelity, the features, the substance of the game. So when a perfect example is when they did the whole terrain update. I was actually on the camp of, hey, do we really need this? Do we not need this? You know? But I'll say once
mhm.
they actually added or updated the terrain system, I was on the camp of wow, this game needed this. Like this is actually a major facelift. So I'm honestly expecting the same thing with clouds. Even though I don't really care about graphics, I think the clouds that they're gonna add will be very beneficial, and who knows, it might allow people to finally see, oh, BMS looks cool. Let me try this game out. You know?
Yeah, but
Yeah, and I think the
same way.
clouds add to the overall immersion, especially since we are talking about uh, aviation, and aviation interacts with clouds by force of what it is. So yeah, I think it'll add to it'll add another level of immersion. The clouds will.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from with the the graphics part of it. 'Cause I think I made a video, um, just kind of like memeing of the stuff, like saying that the terrain changes everything, but that is a very subjective uh, phrase. Where if you're, I, I always say to people, if you're at like the what the terrain looks like does not change your BVR timeline. Like what the terrain
Yeah.
it looks like doesn't change my timeline against a Sequoia. It doesn't change my timeline against a flanker. Like it doesn't do anything. It just looks better. And depending on how you play, especially in the actual engagement, it doesn't really do much. However, when you're low to the ground doing some air to ground stuff, then that might be an issue when you're doing that. But at altitude, it's not that much of an issue unless you are always looking outside or doing like VFR visual flight rules and following terrain. Then that could be really, really nice to have. But in a grand scheme of things, always depending on what you want, it doesn't affect the BVR timeline and what the simulator was actually made for. And it always depends on what you want to get out of the simulator, depends on what you see things as important or not.
Yep, I absolutely agree with that.
But I will say this: that I think for air to air, excuse me, the clouds might be might add, like the terrain, like you were saying, doesn't change much BVR wise.
And
It'll
like I said,
it'll change the dynamics of air to grounds. If someone's low to the grounds, the clouds will, I think, add more to the complexity of how one handles an air to air engagement, for example,
Yeah, and people are always saying
especially in those old school terrains.
that the terrain and the clouds, people always say, well, the question I always see is, does it affect the AI? Like, can the AI see through the clouds? Does it affect infrared missiles? Like, does it affect that type of stuff? That would affect the gameplay of what you're doing, because I think DCS does not do that quite yet. The infrared it's not affected by clouds, which in BMS it is affected. So if someone goes into the clouds and you're using your IR seeker, it'll lose them because they're in the clouds and all the water and stuff. So I think that's something that really, really matters when it comes to clouds and graphics, at least.
Oh yeah.
I
I
agree.
agree.
And to go back to your point about whether it affects gameplay, I was thinking about this. Terrain actually does, because with the whole new terrain system, it's a lot easier, for at least for me, to spot things on a targeting pod, since everything's not a single blob. The terrain, like, you can actually distinguish from like the height maps if whether a tank is going up a hill or down a hill, or if it's on like a convoy. For me, at least, I found a lot easier to actually spot vehicles. So I'm hoping, like you said,
Hmm.
if the clouds, if the AI, like it actually affects the AI. I wonder if the AI will, use the clouds to like hide, or
Oh yeah,
stay below the cloud cover and then go up in ambush.
yeah,
That'd be very interesting to see.
it would.
Let's hope so.
I would hope so, because in dogfighting, you try to stay away from the clouds, and hopefully with the AI, if you go into the clouds, they're not going to be able to see you based on their all-knowing omni-vision of AI-isms.
I think the
AI
dev said
isms.
it's a very fancy state machine.
Yeah, I think I have someone in here said that, let's see, High Aspect said that DCS IR is affected by fog. DCS our High Aspect, can you clarify, is it fog or is it clouds as well? I mean, in science, clouds are fog, is fog, but in DCS it is separated between clouds and fog. So are you saying that clouds are affected by infrared High Aspect there? So whenever you get a chance, just type your clarification in the chat there. But I've seen people specifically ask that question because DCS does not have that ability to be able to have the clouds affect the IR signature of things. So if you could, High Aspect, put that in there. Just fog. Okay, see, he says just fog, not clouds in DCS. Okay, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Okay, they are handled in two different, like they were two different things.
Yeah,
I
it's like
guess. Yeah.
two different types of moisture,
Different
I guess.
mechanics.
Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
And I have flown in DCS sometimes for reasons I won't go into if I don't, whether or not I don't like it right now. But the biggest thing in DCS or in a flight simulator is the clouds. But I do remember taking off and going through the first layer of clouds, and you can't see anything. You're in instrument conditions, and then you fly through them, and then you get to the tops of the clouds, and usually I would tell my wingman where the top of the clouds are, so I'll say like 11,000, and people would know 11,000 is top of the clouds. Once you get past the top of the clouds, you're in that first layer of clouds. So you see another layer above you about 5,000, 6,000 feet. And that view, it looks like real life, especially if the sun is in the correct angle, like just the uh, the lighting of it and the different layers in it. It just looks really, really realistic when it comes to what all the layers are like. Because I think in BMS there's only a couple layers and it doesn't have those layers going up, so it could look a little stale in some senses. There's not that many layers.
You are talking about the new clouds here. Absolutely.
Yeah. The new clouds, and I am in the beta, so in the beta it gives me that same feeling of going through the layers in the beta of Falcon BMS right now. So it does give that same feeling, which what it should be doing, because just the newness of the clouds will be new for a little while, and then after a while it'll just become a part of the simulator, and you'll just fly normally and waiting for the next new thing. But most people will always appreciate what the clouds look like.
Yep.
I mean, you still see that to this day. I mean, a lot of flight games, I hear everyone rave about clouds. So
Yes. Yeah, the cloud.
it'll be
All
very
hail,
beneficial.
all hail the clouds. All hail
Yes.
clouds. All hail clouds. Let's see. Question
I'll expect
here.
a lot of that in the Flight Sim Expo coming up.
Oh yes, the Flight Sim Expo. So speaking of that, I want to talk about that, but since you bring it up, so are you going, Cools?
I have a plan. I haven't finalized it, but
Oh
I'm
man,
absolutely
it's
wanting to come.
it's coming soon. Like it's
Yes,
getting
next month.
yeah, I know it's next month. Let me pull up
Where's it going to be taking place?
in St. Paul, Minnesota, in the United
I see.
States.
Mhm.
Flight Sim Expo. I'm gonna pull up the so visually the stream could see what it looks like, but pull it over here. So so I plan on going. I got my flight ticket, my plane ticket. I got my hotel and all that stuff. So I do plan on going. I went in 2024 when it was in Vegas, because I live in Vegas, so I was like I'm gonna go to it because it's same, it's here. It's been going on for a really long time, longer than I thought. So about 10 years or something. I'm surprised I didn't know about it before, but now I'm just hooked. So the Flight Sim Expo 2026 is something that is very, very nice, and if you're in the area or if you want to make a trip out of it, right now it might be a little bit too late because it's next month. But next year they'll have another one, and where they say where they're going to go is at the last day of the Flight Sim Expo 2026. So it spans from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday is the last day, and after that day, during the closing ceremony, they say where they're going to go next. So we'll see where they go next. But I am interested in what they bring up in the Flight Sim Expo, and it's like all the new things come out on Friday, and then they have a whole floor of things. They got DCS or ED there. They have Thrustmaster, Winwing, or Wind Control now. All the different hardware people, software people, Microsoft Flight Simulator. They got people who brought their full simulator of a Airbus, and it's got just all kind of things. And if you are a simulator fanatic, I highly recommend going because it is a great time. You see all your friends. I saw some YouTubers over there, some X-Plane YouTubers, some DCS YouTubers there. Even saw Bogey Dope there, so that's pretty cool. But it is very, very exciting, and I hope you can plan to go this time. Cools, be cool to see you in person, and hopefully you can at least, especially get the one next year going planned.
I agree. I'm definitely trying my best to come this year.
I think they have something similar in a Europe area. It's kind of like the same thing. I think it changes every year, I think. But yeah, definitely
I've been
look up
looking
the
into
expo.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to tell where exactly it's going to be this year.
Yeah. Let's look in here.
So
Oh, go ahead.
Cool Soda. What? So, Aviation Plus Prime here knows who you are, but I don't. So,
Fair enough.
and I get.
That's
I'm
fair.
guessing. I'm guessing some of the listeners might be curious to hear who you are and where you're from. So, what's like? Are you part of a group? Which type of aircraft do you primarily fly? Would you like to share that sort of thing with everyone?
Sure, I'll start off with where I started. I started very much early. It was around when the F-18 got released for DCS. That was like what, 6 years ago? Probably longer. I started playing on that. Was solo most of the time. And then a friend of mine, introduced me to Falcon BMS. And when I tried it, I got immediately hooked. And I saw they had a forum. I got onto that, and that's when I started making a lot of friends with people on the Falcon Lounge. I believe it is. It's still running, so it's a great server to hang out in. And from the Falcon Lounge, it's when I actually found Prime and all these content creators. So that's how I actually got introduced to, watching Prime's content.
Very
From
cool.
that, it's blossomed from there. I've participated in one or two TVTs. Unfortunately, not the big ones that the Falcon Lounge hosted. It was more of the Falcon Online community that hosted them. Really fun, by the way. The TVTs, you should attend them if you have a chance. Where was I? I'm getting off track now. From there, I've played with the UAF a lot. A great group to fly with. I believe you had a podcast episode on them, right?
We did.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
UAF, yes. Last episode, actually.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, I float with them a lot. That's actually why I have the ostrich profile picture. Is from hanging out with the UAF guys.
Yeah.
And I believe it's through UAF that they introduced me to the sixth virtual fighter wing, and I was played with the guys for throughout college.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I did have to step away from that since life, got a job, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Adulting.
But adulting, very much adulting, yes. But I still very much play BMS, like a DCS when I have time. It's one of those games you can't walk away from. There's no other game like it.
This is
Like
absolutely
Yeah,
even War
correct. Yeah.
especially
Thunder.
especially if aviation is your thing, like yeah, you
Exactly.
just kind of
Like
in
even if
combat
War
aviation is one of the
Thunder
best.
releases the 16s, it doesn't. It's not as cool as flying it in BMS, right?
War Thunder, yeah, War Thunder has all these modern jets now, don't they? I used to play War
Yeah.
Thunder way back in the day.
Yeah, when it was like World War One planes, like and then got to World War Two planes, and then I kind of stopped. Now it has the F-16 in there. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yes, I
They even
actually
have
tried it. It is
Eurofighters and Rafales
fun.
and stuff
Yeah.
these days, don't
Yes.
they?
I'll say this: the F-16 is fun to fly. I mean, now, don't get me wrong, it's not high fidelity as DCS and BMS, but it's fun. You can still do a lot of the ACM techniques that you'd use in BMS,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
it's good for that at least.
What variant of F-16 do they? Oh, I guess it's War Thunder probably have like 20 variants in there, and three of them are like paid, like what's it
Yes,
called, premium versions.
Yeah. Premium. I think I know they have the A. I haven't
or at
really done
least yeah.
much
For the
research on
U.S.
anything else.
Tech Tree, it's F-16A Block 15, and then right after that you get the Block 50, and then after that they added a Block 52 to the game.
I see.
Yeah, I know, like you said,
I
it's
did.
like paying you have to pay for stuff or get the points of it to be able to buy it. It's like 69 million, I don't know, War Thunder
Yes.
dollars or whatever it is, gold points. But yeah,
War Thunder dollars.
it's something. I don't know. It's been probably 8 years since I opened up the thing, but yeah. And for our War Thunder fans, we're not dogging on War Thunder. We're just not knowing about it, but I think everybody can agree that you have to pay for stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's a
guess
fun game
it is a
to
free
play on and
game,
off.
supposedly. So,
Yeah, it just takes a lot of your time. If it's
hmm
not time, it's money. I'll say that.
Yep, yep. And I think, yeah, definitely time. Because people say Falcon BMS is cheap and you get what you pay for, but we can go into that discussion later. But I mean, it's the fidelity of it, and you pay for it in time to be able to learn the UI, learn how to log into a server, find people to even fly with. So all that stuff takes time to learn how to squeeze BMS, what you want out of BMS for you to be able to have fun with it, because it's definitely for fun, and other depending on what level you want to use it as, it could be used for actual tactics and actual procedures, or you can just go around shooting people with invulnerability on or something. So it depends on what you want.
At the end of the day, I like to say this: all games are good. It just depends what you want out of them.
Yes, yep. Because
absolutely.
if you want trains and you pick up Falcon BMS, you're not going to get much trains, and it's going to be terrible for you. So
Can't even bomb planes,
yeah, I
trains.
don't
I
think
mean,
there's even trains in B. I don't even think there is.
No, actually, I
So
think you're right. There
so
aren't
there's
trains.
zero trains in BMS. So if you want trains, it's not a thing for BMS. DCS has
there's a
trains.
there's a game called Train Simulator. I'm
There
pretty
is.
sure.
So if you on the opposite side of that, if you want to have planes and you want to go to Train Simulator, you're not going to get much stuff out of it. So it all depends on
That's
what
true. You
you
can fly
want.
an F-16 on there.
Exactly. It all depends on what you want out of the simulator. That's why there's so much separation between, oh, DCS is better, BMS is better. Well, it just kind of depends on what you want. If you want the F-14, BMS is not going to be good for you, so you fly DCS. If you want the F-16, that is debatable whether or not you want to use DCS or BMS, but in my opinion, I would say BMS is where it's at, especially with the F-16 and as of late the F-15, because that's the only full fidelity F-15 anywhere right now. So F-15C, that is, not the Strike Eagle, just the regular Eagle. I do have, looking at a question here. So there's T Fox 737. He says, question arises. He's new to BMS. What is the most realistic difficulty setting for AI? Finding myself being chased 60 miles out into friendly territory by a single Sukhoi without friendly jets or SAM reacting. So the most realistic difficulty setting for AI is, depends on what you want is realistic, because the difficulty settings for the I'll put this question in the chat here so we could see it as who's in this who's in the who's in our briefing right now in Discord. So if you guys can read it there, and we'll answer this question. But like I said, the difficulty rating is kind of not sure 100% sure of how they score the difficulty ratings. But for the most part, and to my understanding, it's the amount of risk they're willing to take when it comes. Probably a better explanation of this. This is my understanding explanation. It is based on the risk of the amount of risk they want to take to get you. So if you're on Ace, which is the highest setting, they'll take a lot of risk to get you, which is probably why they're chasing you 60 miles into friendly territory. But if they're on Easy, I forgot the exact nomenclature of it, but if they're on the lesser
Novice,
difficulty,
I think.
novice or recruit or something. So if they're on a lesser, they won't go into enemy territory as much. They won't take as much risk. So in a single player scenario, I usually do that middle one so they won't chase you. Also, to have your wingman, to help you out and to come behind you and take them out. But if you don't have any protection at your home base, like a Patriot or Hawks or something, then they're going to chase you all the way down. So make sure you do have a working Patriot or SAM system at your base so they don't chase you all the way down back to your base. Because I've seen that happen before in many of our campaigns. It's super annoying, and sometimes you just have to, either you're going to die landing or you're going to die trying to fight them again. So it just depends on what you want to do when it comes to the difficulty settings and how you want to get out of that campaign.
I would recommend for the person who asked this question, when you are planning a mission and if you're doing the threat circles, um, one thing that I find that's useful, look for friendly Patriots along the TFOX 737. Find Patriots along the DMZ and mark them like you would uh, a hostile SAM site, but you have also the option to like make the threat circle for a Patriot. So that way, you know that if you are within that threat circle, the friendly air defense should help you, and the operating word there is should. Because
Yes,
I know they don't always.
and it's the AI. They don't follow any type of, so you can make their route to do whatever. You can have them follow 9 steer points, and if they find you vulnerable, running away from them, they'll just chase you down. So don't expect for them to be um, like by the book and only do what they're supposed to do. They'll chase you down to a certain extent. They've chased us down like most of the way to our home base, and they probably ran out of gas. So they will chase you down until they run out of gas in some situations. Let's see.
I have seen this happen too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I think another. Oh, that's another. So speaking of the dynamic campaign, so Marcus Moore 513 says, "Do you guys think the dynamic campaign will come close to BMS? Is the dynamic campaign the end all be all to DCS?" So put that in our general chat here. So I guess Fiscus, you wanna take a crack at that one? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm gonna answer this with I think people who know me and my views know I have a sort of a negative bias towards DCS because of the things I've I experienced when I did play it for a few years there, um, and I question the how am I going to put this, the competency of Eagle Dynamics to be able to handle a dynamic campaign when and if they ever release it. I know they announce it every year on their announcement video, saying that it's coming and it's coming, and it never comes. So I don't have a lot of faith that if they ever do get to implement it, that'll manage it very effectively. Because uh, let's take another example. Another thing that pretty much only DCS does, carrier ops, right? Carrier ops have been around since the F-16. Sorry, not the F-16. The F-18 was implemented into DCS. It's still apparently very problematic with many issues. If they can't get that right, think about all of the different aspects that dynamic campaign has. That's all I think. I'm gonna say. Like I question that they'll ever be able to handle it very effectively.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't, because again, we're not dogging on ED, we're not dogging on DCS. We love both sims, but we do have our opinions, and respect us for our opinions. Don't hate us for whatever we say. But um, I would say, I'm speculating. I think that ED is going to charge for the dynamic campaign. I think I saw somewhere where they weren't, but I'm not. I haven't seen like somewhere where it says specifically it will be free. But I think they're going to be charging for it, regardless of the fact they're going to charge for it. The fact that they have the ability to do early access stuff. So as you said, Fiscus, in the early access, they'll probably have it where it will be super buggy. I mean, that's with any software at all. It'll be super buggy, super low fidelity, and it's probably be like very basic, maybe something along the lines of their quick action button. So you click on quick action, it'll create you something, and it'll do maybe some type of dynamic stuff in there. But I have seen in their videos where they have like the flot line, the troops line, and they have everything moving around. So that's probably what it's going to be like. kind of similar to BMS. But the biggest thing that I'm worried about is the performance of it. Because in BMS, there is a way where they have de-agged and agged, so they have it where it is not spawned in the game. So there's a certain span or certain bubble that they use to be able to spawn, because your computer can't hold 100,000 units going around doing their own little thing. So what ED and DCS is going to do is going to have to do the same thing, because most of us already know that it is super graphic heavy, and I don't think we have enough computing power to be able to do the graphics and the computing power of all of the tanks, airplanes, tankers, people on the ground, and all that stuff. So for me, the biggest thing is the performance of it that I'm kind of worried about once we do going forward. So that's my little take on that. But will it be the end of DCS? End all be all of DCS? If DCS has the exact same dynamic campaign of BMS, I'm sure people will still be in BMS because of the F-16 and using that. And then if you are on any other aircraft, you'll go to DCS because it has the exact same dynamic campaign that BMS has. But it's like we said before, it depends on what you want. If you want to fly the F-16, you'll do BMS. If you want to fly anything else, you'll probably fly DCS in that sense. But the dynamic campaign is something that's people are really wanting, and we'll see when it gets here, whenever it gets here. I think.
What about you?
Oh, yeah.
They're cool. Sorry.
No, good.
My bad.
Yeah.
I thought you were done.
No, I'm done. Cool, go ahead.
Might be a bit of a controversial opinion.
Oh
but
boy. This is what this is for.
I think we already have a dynamic campaigns somewhat. I feel like a lot of the servers, the PvE servers that exist in DCS already have such good fidelity. I'm going to be honest, I don't think ED will be able to beat that. A good example is the Gray Flag servers. I've played on them. They have a great server. Don't get me wrong, they did a lot of like custom work to get it to work, but I have a blast playing on that. I don't know if ED will be able to match that. I guess another example is contention. I feel like contention is pretty, what's a good word for it? Has a good amount of fidelity for it to be dynamic. Now, don't get me wrong, it is PvP, so there's always going to be a bit dynamic since, you're going against
humans.
players.
Yep.
They're naturally random. But yeah, I don't think ED will be able to match what the community has already put out.
Yeah, the community did create some pretty nice stuff, and I'm not familiar with it. But are you familiar with the mission planning portion of it? Is it similar to BMS, where you literally do nothing with the mission planning when it comes to the other side? At least you just kind of create. I want to go here, and then the red side will just do whatever. Or is it more hands-on when it comes to both sides, or is it just completely dynamic?
It's more of an ad hoc thing. You hop on, maybe with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
You look at the situation, and then from there decide what to do. So, I guess a contention example. We find, oh, they set up a few SA6s over here. Let's try taking those sixes out so we can clear a path for whatever strike package wants to do their thing.
And it's
So it's a lot more ad hoc.
Yeah.
Not a lot of planning. Like, it's not like BMS where you could spend hours planning. It's more of a, oh, this is what we can do. Let's do it. Let's plan it while we're in flight.
Oh, is that because of the mission plan? Like, there's no, lack of a better term, 2D map to actually, like, before you get in the game, you can't like do stuff in the 2D map.
For that, they are squadrons that use. There's an online tool. I forgot the exact name off the top of it. But in that tool, you can like set timelines. If you're like time on target, it's very important. You can set custom waypoints for however many flights are in a package. So they're definitely tools for mission planning.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you're hopping on to a random server and trying to figure out what to do, you can only really do that when you're like spawned in the jet or like spectating. There's not really a way to like coordinate or like modify your data cartridge to boost your points, none of
Yeah.
that stuff.
Is it called
Which is unfortunate.
combat flight? I know there's like several, but um,
I think it was like MCS. I have to
MCS. Oh, well,
double
it's
check.
probably kind of like what the 2D map of BMS is like, where you could move around the steer points, and put down threat circles, look at
Yep.
where your assets are, and kind of stuff like that. That's what it kind of looks like.
I'll say this: BMS will always be being able to plan like very like to the minute detail. It's very good for that.
Yeah, operationally planned. When it comes to planning,
Exactly.
when it comes to putting units where you want and exactly what formation and where you want them to go, BMS is not quite as suited for that type of detail. But when it comes to detail of planning, it is that detail. Because I know in DCS you can make scripts of literally anything. You can make smoke appear for no reason, and you could have like all kind of different scripts, and that's great and
Yes.
all. But most people just want to fly. They don't want to have to create missions, spend 3 days creating a mission that takes 45 minutes to fly.
And I'll admit I'm guilty of it. I actually enjoy that because
Oh well,
I'll be honest, after a long day of work, sometimes I just want to shoot at stuff. So it's
that's fair.
great to be able to hop on, spend 30 minutes to an hour doing something, and then calling it quits. Compared to BMS, where one, you need to plan out the mission, then we need to actually execute the mission, and then most of the time we need to debrief the mission. That's, I think, a big thing that's missing. Debriefing as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because oftentimes, if you're doing online, just hopping off, hey, you had a fun flight. Let's
Yep. Bye.
have a good night, and then
Yep.
bye. Yeah,
Yep.
it's not really a debrief.
No.
So
You can always do a self debrief, but it's not like a tac view type of get together. First flight, did you win? Did you not win? Did you die? Why did you die?
exactly.
Stuff like that. But it's always good if you wanna learn what you did. And usually people are just genuinely curious of what happened because you don't know what happened. When you're in the cockpit flying around, you want to see how close that missile got to you. You want to see what your bombs hit instead of the what
Yep.
your intentive target was. So sometimes it's just curious. Sometimes you just want to get off because it's late.
I'll say this though, I am thankful that the community is very accommodating. Like if they have criticism, it's a lot of the times constructive that I found. They're not like, "Oh, you sucked," and they didn't tell you why you sucked.
Yeah, exactly. Like you suck. I don't. It's like okay, why? How can I do better next time?
Exactly.
I have
And
a
it's constructive and it's very fair. It's not like they're
yes.
just saying it to be mean.
Yeah. For like 99% of the time, it also depends on how they take it. Because you could say you did this wrong because you just did it wrong, and people can either they can go two ways. They could defend themselves of what they did wrong, or they can just accept it and say that oh yeah, that is probably wrong. So it's just how the person uh, accepts the feedback and criticism in that. But yeah, debriefs it can be a little spicy, but they're not supposed to be. But if you're not told what you did wrong, you'll never know what you did wrong. I do have
Agreed.
a
At the end of the day, we all want to be the best pilot we can be. So always
yeah
something to improve
That's
on.
true.
another so high aspect. He asked another question. So high aspect. He asked two wish items for BMS. He would like to see more of a visual buffeting for the BMS F-15C, and he or I'd like to see it match better the radar ACM HOTAS behavior that DCS Strike Eagle has. So the buffeting, I could see about the buffeting, where I know in DCS they have it where the actual like instrument panel starts to shake on other things, where you like, get into that buffeting sense. But it's just to get that immersion sense that you're in an airplane that's like starting to stall, especially in high aspect regimes, because the F15C doesn't have fly by wire, so you can rip their wings off slash go over G's and stuff. So when you get into that over G type of regime, it'll really start shaking at you, and it's really nice to see the buffeting and the like the shaking of it in the cockpit because it gives you because most or pilots, they do the seat of the pants type of stuff. So you could tell when you're about to stall by what you feel in the cockpit. For us simulator folks, we're not in the cockpit. So we need other ways to see where we are on like the stall and other aspects of flying. We need to see where we are on that stall sense. So buffeting would help out a lot. When it comes to ACM and HOTAS, I don't quite have anything else to compare it to, and I'm pretty sure that it should be the same in the Strike Eagle and the regular Eagle, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I think we could start sharing some ideas when it comes to the Eagles in both sims, and I hopefully whichever one comes out on top is what it's supposed to be like.
I would like to just real quick, Prime.
Hmm?
We have Kula Soto on with us now, but if anyone wants to come talk to us, please join. There's a link there on the chat. Join us, come talk to us. Be happy to have you.
Yep, feel free.
Just chill out on the waiting room for a second.
Cool. So have you gotten to the Eagle yet?
The Eagle in BMS, yes. I
BMS?
must say, it is very fun. It's feels completely different to a 16. I'll say
Oh yeah.
that. The fact that you can climb up to 30,000 a whole lot quicker than the 16 and go really fast in the 16. It is very much a BVR monster. Like I used that a lot in TVT. Like you can be a threat to a four ship of F-16s as a singleton F-15. Like that's how good it is at BVR and fun. So yeah, I very much enjoy it. Unfortunately, I haven't flown the Strike Eagle, so I can't really compare between the two.
Yeah, same. Yep.
But yeah, it's very good. I love the HOTAS commands you have for it. I love the fact that they have an aircraft that is going to, or at least they're trying to match the fidelity of the 16 is very exciting and makes me very hopeful we'll see more aircraft like fingers crossed the F-18.
Yeah, that'll be sweet. Bring some more people over and get some Navy aviation in there. Because I've
Yeah.
flown with the like 2 week trial thing with the 18 just to see what the landing on a carrier is like, and it's a totally different dynamic, landing and taking off. So it'll be fun.
I know a lot of people have on their wish list the item that they have in the wish list is the A10, for example, like a dedicated ground attack platform.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would be.
I think it'd be very fitting
It would.
because isn't that what the original devs wanted to do very early on, but they couldn't because of their code? So it'd be very fitting, I think, if they added the A10.
Let's see. Let's segue. Did new clouds, new terrain, Expo. Um, I guess what are you guys looking forward to in BMS in the next 5 years or something like? Well, what are some of the things that you heard through the grapevine or know about is going to come in the future, or anything that you're kind of like looking forward to in the future of BMS?
Other than the clouds, I don't know what else they are cooking. I hope, or I have some like myself. I have some wishes, personal wishes. If they're gonna be coming true or not, that's a completely different thing. Uh, but yeah, for me, the clouds, and that's pretty much it, really. And whatever, I'll take whatever I can take.
Yeah, it's mostly whatever comes new is new. For me, it's multi-crew. They said they'll never do it, but they also said they'll never do Link 16. So who knows?
Oh yeah, multi-crew, absolutely. If ever they get around to implementing something like that, which yeah, they did say that they wouldn't be doing, but if they ever change their mind, if they can pull it off, and they've been pulling off some very impressive things,
Yes,
that would be
would
game
be
breaking,
pretty sweet.
ground groundbreaking.
I guess for me, what I would like is a way to easily find multiplayer servers and connect to them, kind of like a server browser.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
as of right now, it's kind of word of mouth or just finding it on a forum post. If there is a way to see like all the servers that are running BMS, one, it'd give exposure to the multiplayer community and hopefully make it a more streamlined experience for those that want to try out multiplayer but have no idea how to connect. Because I'll say this, my first time trying to connect, it took me like 2 hours. So I can only imagine someone in my position doing that.
Yeah.
Fairly completely new.
So with
Yeah, the
that,
BMS
go ahead.
multiplayer is very much a product of its of the time it was developed in, and I guess it's too
Agreed.
tight, it's too deep, quote unquote, in the code there for them to be able to modify that.
So I've kind of like two things with that. So the first thing is the the ability to join someone's server kind of splits up, or it kind of focuses the people. If you're, it kind of focuses the people who want to actually plan a mission and do things at a specific time. So that doesn't usually happen when it comes to people just wanting to join a server in a giant list. So there's the people who want to plan and actually have scheduled events, which is a lot of people. Also, I don't know about the numbers of this, but there's also a lot of people who want to do single player but multiplayer. Not sure how that really works. So it's like the airquake that people use. It's single player, but it's multiplayer, but it's still single player. So people want the airquake type of stuff. I'm assuming because that's a lot of stuff in other sims that people do that with, where you can just join a server and do whatever and not really have to talk to anybody. So there's that sense which will be perfect for being able to join your own server in a giant server list. But on the other side of that, which is kind of like the second thing, is like all the scheduled stuff. The scheduled servers aren't going to be just live on the server list at any given time. They're only going to be put on or turned on when that group or session wants to actually go out and fly the mission. But as we talked about the dynamic campaign, people can always, on the servers that are always live, they could always fly in the dynamic campaign and have the ability to ask other people. So small little groups, four, so maybe one flight, go in there and actually fly around. So there's what I'm saying is like there's two type of pools. There's a pool who wants to just fly by themselves or with four or less people, and the other pool is UOAF doing 30 plus pilots in four different packages doing their stuff on that sense. So there's like a definitely a separation between the two, but depends on how much work it would be to be able to manage all those servers and manage the interface of how to uh, get people to actually join. But it just depends on how much time it takes because our BMS folks are just doing it for fun. So this depends on how much time it takes to actually have a full server list of servers.
Real quick, we have someone else on the waiting room, so should I get him on here?
Yeah, we can
So
get
we appreciate their
Space
patience.
Captain in here.
And,
Yep.
yeah, let's get Space Captain in here. Hang on. Hello, Space Captain, and thank you for joining us. Good afternoon or evening.
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good. Pretty
I'm
good.
good.
Oh,
Good, man.
I'm gonna
Thanks for
turn
coming
off
along.
the YouTube feed.
Oh yeah. Yep. Turn that off.
All right, yeah, it's off. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. Just talking about flight simulators on a Saturday and doing some live stream stuff. And glad for you to join. And seems like we're getting pretty good numbers in the live stream. But do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't really know what to say, you know.
Well,
So how
yeah. But
about start with your background?
Mhm.
Like, how did you start flight sims, and how did you get to flying BMS or DCS, whatever you are currently flying?
Oh, it's BMS. Yeah. It's actually I guess a while ago Yeah, it was a while ago. I wanted to actually write a comic book about um, pilots, like combat pilots in space. I wanted to do like a sci-fi type of thing, but I didn't know anything about aircraft at the time, so I thought I'd get into flight simulators, and eventually I got into BMS. Well, I got into Falcon 4.0, the original, like,
The old school one, yeah.
yeah, the really old one, that they mod, because my PC couldn't handle the BMS mod at the time, right? It's still now, it can only handle 4.37. It can't do 4.38. And I actually played a decent amount of the old one. I think I played it more than BMS now, because they've only had BMS for a few months now, right? So that's what, yeah, about since December, I would say I only have about 10 hours on it.
Wow.
But yeah, in 4.0, I got good enough because I played with the keyboard. I got good enough to tank with the keyboard.
Dang. That's impressive.
With the keyboards. Wow.
With the keyboard, yeah. But now I use an Xbox controller with BMS. I'm not as good at it with the controller since I'm fairly new.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
another learning curve you have to go through again. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't too bad, it's quite fun actually. And there's tutorials as well. I do watch a lot of Fisgus tutorials, so quite happy to meet
Thank you. I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Aviation Plus tutorials too for the more tactical stuff like BVR.
Yeah. A little
So
more deep diving
clapped
into
up in
some
the
things.
yeah, I don't get clapped up in the dynamic campaign by MiG-23s. That happened like last week.
Yeah, they're aggressive. Well, and then they get behind you,
Yeah, they
and
are.
it's over. It's over.
You know,
Right, I
for
was
me
playing.
about the MiG-23s,
Yeah,
I think a lot of people, and I've seen this experienced pilots in BMS, underestimate them. The people
yeah,
underestimate the MiG-23s, and then they basically take them out because people were like, "Ah, MiG-23, what? They can't do anything." Well, guess what? Yes, they can. They can get behind
yeah.
you and
So
shoot
the
you because you weren't
booty
looking.
I absolutely agree. I've seen people underestimate MiG-21s, and they've died to them. They assumed, oh, I can get up
That too.
close, I could use a heater, but no, you cannot. You should always treat a threat as a threat. That's what I say. Don't assume it's going to be easy or assume it's hard. Always give it your 100.
Yep,
Yeah, that's right.
absolutely.
Right, because I remember the MiG-23. When the AWACS tells you, "Oh yeah, there's a MiG-23. You should go kill it." I thought, "Oh, it's a MiG-23. He's not gonna do anything." And he shot a radar guided missile at me, and I died. I died instantly.
Yeah, that'll do it. And they're
Yep.
usually more than one, so it's like a couple of them, and they're not a threat until they are. So you're coming, you're high aspect, so he's coming towards you, you're going towards them at like closing speed of 800 knots. So it's like 20, 30 seconds before you're within threat range. So it's not much time to be able to react or anything. So you need to be aware of where they are. And if there's any other
Yeah,
threat around you, then go after that threat. But if they're the only thing out there, they are air-to-air capable. So you might want to give them a little bit of attention in some senses.
yeah, they really are. You know, and well, aside from that, I haven't had too many problems with MiG-21s.
Those aren't too threatening, but if they get too close, they are threatening though.
Yeah, it's because of the heaters, isn't it? Because I don't think MiG-21s can carry BVR missiles.
They have the very early the semi-active radar missiles, so they have BVR is relative. It's probably like maybe at 10 miles. So I mean that's relatively how good your eyesight is. You could probably see something at 10 miles, but BVR is more like out 20, 30 miles out. So they're a little bit more closer than the other ones.
Yeah.
I've heard
Do
it
you
somewhere.
remember your first air-to-air kills?
Oh, I think cool. We'll talk about that. Cools, you had something?
Yes, I was going to
Yeah.
say BVR is very dependent on what aircraft you fly. So BVR, like an F4, is going to be very different from BVR in an F-15.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I wanted to add to that.
Yep. It's just at the
Yeah,
time
figures
DVR.
because I remember I flew an F-15 before, right? And the first thing that came out for me, or the first thing that stood out for me in the F-15 is how powerful the radar is. You know, I remember I looked at the screen, I was like, wow, look at that range.
Oh yeah, you see stuff for
Because
60
yeah,
miles that
miles.
in a 16 it takes, it's like 40 or something, 60, 80 miles.
Yeah, I can't read it though. It's like the grid or something. I mean, you can barely read the F-16 radar, to be fair.
Oh yeah, you just have to get used to it,
It's
know
practice.
what the symbology means, and understand what
Yeah.
it's actually showing you, to be able to understand what you're
Yeah, that's
actually getting
right.
from it. But
But
So
yeah,
my
as I jokingly call it,
all right.
brain memory.
green memory.
Brain
Oh,
memory. So
brain
like
memory.
instead of
Yeah,
muscle memory, just remembering what
what you're
everything
actually looking
is
at.
symbology wise.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
See.
another one is the tones for the RWR,
Ah, yes. So
right?
yeah, because there's
That's another one.
and there's different tones for different threats. So you got ground threat, air threat, Sukhoi, MiGs, SA 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 12, or like the 15s, SA 15s. So all of them have a certain tone based on what threat it is, because their radars use certain type of frequencies, certain type of pulse repetition stuff. So they all use different things, and that audibly sounds different to the RWR, and it plays to you what it hears. So it would be good to understand what each one is, but you need to know basically if you're being yelled at, someone's locking you up. Also, you need to know the launch warning sound, the traditional launch warning sound, and then the missile, active radar missile sound. So there's like a couple sounds you need to know, so you know if you're getting shot at or not.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
And then you
You know,
asked,
when I first started, sorry, when I first started flying the Falcon 4 at the time, and I
Yeah.
couldn't wrap my mind around why this why this aircraft shot me down, because I didn't get any RWR warning, and the issue was it wasn't shooting me with a radar guided missile. Like I was under the impression, and this was years and years ago, that if an aircraft shoots a missile at me, I should get a launch warning. But guess what? If it shoots me with a IR missile, you're not going to get one.
yeah,
And that took me a while
Yeah.
to wrap my mind around that.
Yeah, you know what that is? That's the Top Gun propaganda from all the cartoons, where they get the little alarm tone whenever they get locked on, no matter what.
Exactly.
yep. Just the cinematic misconception of how airplanes work, or RBRs and missiles work.
Yeah. Like the other one is the radar, where it's like a circle with a bit like, the HSD. Um, Traditionally people think that kind of flat top down screen is what a radar screen looks like.
Yeah,
That was a fairly big shock too when I first started.
yeah. It's more in front of you, and you have to elevate your radar to look in certain altitudes, and of course there'll be nothing behind you because your radar's not facing that way. So it's a 120-degree view forward of what you can actually see, because the radar has to physically move back and forth and search the sky. So yeah, it's a little different than people understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that gets so many people. Like loads of people have that problem with, oh, I got shot by something. I could see them on the radar. Yeah, because
They're behind you.
you behind you, they're above or below the your antenna elevation.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of people get get messed up with that.
yeah. And it's all about the situation awareness and understanding what your sensors are telling you, and how to use that in a manner that you could apply it to what situation you're in. So it's all this brain sensor fusion. You got to sensor fuse all the stuff that's in front of you, and it could be overwhelming sometimes, especially if you don't understand what it's telling you in the first place.
Yeah.
say I believe the word for that is task saturation,
Yes.
being overwhelmed with what you're seeing.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah,
So, Space Captain.
overwhelmed is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was just curious. So you were telling us you flew with keyboards and mouse, yeah?
Yeah.
And now with a
Xbox
controller.
360 controller.
Do you fly with a group?
I'm in the UOAF server. I've only flown one multiplayer though with WSY. I was about 2 weeks ago, I think.
I see. And how was
Yeah,
it?
because it was actually it was quite enjoyable. You know, well the first thing that happened is it took a while to get the IVC set up. That took a long time. But afterwards, you know, we did the mission. It was Coastal Front, and with Coastal Front, the one thing you miss in Coastal Front is Link 16, right? Because you take that for granted when you're used to playing KTO, right? Because I've done a few missions in KTO, and it tells you so nicely, you know, oh, this guy, he's green and red, you know, and then it comes up on the top like, oh, this is a MiG-29. Yeah, in Coastal Front, you don't get any of that. You know, you're flying these really old Block 15s, right? And it just comes up in monotone green, you know. But
Mhm.
we flew. We were supposed to attack a SAM site in Poland. We did a pop-up attack, and at the end, what happened is I ended up getting shot down by a SAM when I was pulling up, and for some reason his bombs didn't release. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but you know, we didn't complete the mission. But the thing is, when you do multiplayer like that, you know, even if you die and you fail the mission, it still feels good.
And you still learned something, I bet.
Yeah, exactly. In my case, or one of the mistakes I made actually was, you know, the X key that changes the steer point, right? And it's right below the S key for chaff and flare. So I remember I was being chased by a MiG-23, and I was defensive, you know, and I was spamming the X key because I thought, you know, that would make the chaff and flare come out, but it didn't. And in the end, it just made me go to like steer point 32.
No, with no countermeasures coming out, you're just going up on your steer points.
Yeah. And another thing I did was on the controller, right, the Xbox controller, to use the VHF push to talk, right, in the aircraft for the IVC. It's right button, you hold right button down, and then you press B. B by itself is also the pickle button. So when I was trying to radio my wingman, I launched like 2 Fox 2s into the ocean.
Uh-oh.
Oof.
They're just gone. I didn't die though, not to the aircraft at least. Like I said, the SAM got me when I was pulling up to drop the bomb, but it was still nice. I
And
managed
wasn't
to
your
eject.
flight lead going like, "What the hell are you doing?"
He was defensive because he was fighting the MiG-23s. We got
Oh,
jumped by
okay.
MiG-23s, you know, just beforehand. So you know we kind of separated, but um yeah, I did manage to eject though. But you know, I'll add a bit of headcanon. I was executed by the Polish forces after I ejected.
Oh no. Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, at least
So
not a
that was it
problem
for
for you
me.
anymore.
Yeah, right. It's over. The war's over for me.
Yep.
But I quite like those kind of campaigns aside from Link 16, right? Because Link 16 really is a luxury, but I do like you know, the older kind of 1970s, just before the guided bombs, you know, despite the fact that guided bombs are from the 1960s, just like dumb bombs, sidewinder missiles, aim sevens, you know, the very basic kind of loadout for your plane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's quite nice, like CCIP. I really enjoy using CCIP. I can't do CCRP. Well, I've tried to, but I can't get, you know, like the correct G-force on an Xbox controller.
Oh, you like the visual bombing drops? You can't get the
Yeah,
the
because it's nicer as well. You know, you can actually look at it.
yeah.
It's more you can feel the G forces or in your head.
Yeah.
You're actually just sitting on a computer. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, if you don't mind, because I
Yeah.
never tried flying BMS with a controller. Do you still rely on the keyboard when you're using your controller, or can you have everything mapped on your controller?
I still rely on the keyboard. Yeah, you can't have everything mapped in your controller, I don't think. You can have a decent amount though, especially airborne, you know, you can have most of it mapped. The only things that like stick out to me that you need that are mapped to the keyboard are G for the landing gear. And then, you know, some quality of life stuff like X and Z for the steer points. And
I guess to add on to that, do you still have like most of the HOTAS keybinds? Like, do you have the TMS hat switch bound and like the CMS one bound, or is that also on the keyboard?
oh, that's bound. Yeah. On your D-pad, if you hold down right bumper and you use the D-pad, that's your DMS. And then if you hold down left bumper and you use the D-pad, that's the TMS. And just like the D-pad by itself, that's how you use the radar cursor.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it isn't too bad actually. Aside from, you know, the only major complaint that I would give it is just the you know, like your pilot's head, because you can get lost sometimes when you're dogfighting, because well, you use the right stick to move your head around, and like doing both of them at the same time, it can get a bit taxing, you know. Like you can lose the direction you're flying in, but that isn't too bad. I think with practice that would go, you know.
Yeah. It shouldn't be too bad, especially if you're used to it. Um, so
Yeah.
with you flying with the controller, is there any plans on getting a HOTAS stuff or track AR to kind of free some buttons to be able to look around moving your head?
Yeah, eventually. Eventually I'll try, you know. You got to get a new PC as well,
Oh yeah, yeah.
just so it runs. Or right now, you want to hear my specs?
Go for it.
Sure.
All right, it is an i5 3450, I believe, 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, and a GTX 1050, the 2 gigabyte variant.
Ooh, yeah. The biggest thing is your graphics card there. Especially with the new 4.38, it doesn't like anything below or at 8.
I
So
was about to say mine's like at 10. And I feel like it doesn't like it, so I'm
yeah,
surprised.
Now I'm using a 3.7. That's why I actually tried to download
Oh,
3A and it ran like a PowerPoint.
slideshow is like all right, it's like
I believe
two
it.
frames. Yeah, it was. They've done better now because I had a what did I have, a 3070 with 8 gigabytes of RAM,
Yeah,
and it didn't run for great. Like with no one around, it was at like maybe 35 frames but on the ground. And in the air, it
yeah,
got up to maybe 50 or something, but it never got to the 60 at least. But now, because of that, I upgraded to a 5070 Ti, and it has 16 gigabytes of the VDR VRAM, and it works a lot better. Before they even did updates with the performance of it, so and now the performance has been updated and uh kind of calibrated toward modern standards because it wasn't good performance last time when they first updated, but they had the update and it's a lot better now. But yeah, the graphics card is more of the more graphics card hungry now with BMS.
yep, especially in VR.
yeah.
Especially in VR.
No, VR is way too far away for me, mate.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
still haven't gotten a VR yet.
yeah. Do you think VR is like bad for your eyes or something? Because the screen's really close by.
Surprisingly, I mean, I have glasses on, so I don't know if that's related.
Right.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it's not too bad. I mean, I have prescription lenses on my VR headset, so I don't have to like constantly take off and on my glasses. I
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably eye strain. You should just, don't forget to blink, right?
Yeah, don't forget to blink.
Water. Drink a lot of water. That's what I always tell people. Because I always get like really super thirsty. I guess because of
Yeah.
like how it warms up my head. But I always get like super thirsty, and water is my recommendation.
Yeah.
I don't
I would
get.
say it's
I'm lucky in the aspect that I don't get like the motion sickness that a lot of people suffer from when they get a VR headset.
yes.
But I know that's a big concern for a lot of people.
I'll say this, it's very dependent on the person. I'm obviously not a medical expert, so case by case basis. But on that subject, yes, the frame rate is very important because if you have a low frame rate, then yes, that motion sickness will be an issue. So it's very important to have a really good PC with high specs and a lot of room so that that frame rate doesn't always fluctuate when you're in VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me with
I suppose, and it has something to do with like car sickness, like not everyone gets car sickness. And I'd imagine, in my unprofessional medical opinion, that the type of, like if you're prone to car sickness, you're probably more prone to VR sickness.
You
Yeah, that
can
makes
build
sense.
resistance to it. It's just, you have to play a lot smaller sessions until you get more and more comfortable. It's kind of car sickness, actually. Everyone has car sickness at a young age. It's just you get used to it and you have that less and less.
Yeah. God, I don't remember the last time I've been car sick. I don't think I've ever been car sick that I can remember.
I'll say this, there's a lot of reasons why kids throw up in their parents' cars.
just the movement.
That's probably another reason to get vinyl seats,
uh,
But yeah, I was thinking getting like a 1650 or something, but the major limiting factor for me is my PC is a small form factor, so I have to get the low profile, and I just can't find them.
Oh, you have a like a mini case or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
well, it's an office PC that I got, and then I put the graphics card in.
oh, okay.
This was actually my first graphics card. I remember I was so hyped when I first got it and I put it in. I was like, wow, it can run BMS.
Yay! And then the update comes out. It's like, nope, psych.
Damn.
uh,
Yeah, it was almost like, what was it, like a couple months late. I thought, I got it, I got BMS, and I thought, oh, I'll play by myself for a few months and get a bit good. So, I don't show up to the multiplayer and not even know how to fly. And
Yeah.
eventually that came, and then the update came out, and I was like, yeah, it's over.
It's like, well,
So I
It's
guess I'll
over.
just stick with
Like
3.7.
yeah, for now. We're about to get clouds here soon, so it'll be even more graphics intensive. So,
Yeah, when I first like hopped into the stream and I heard you talking about clouds, I was like, oh no,
oh boy, it's like, uh-oh.
here we go
Yeah.
again.
here's another roadblock for me to be on
Yeah.
the latest version.
But eventually the roadblock will be defeated.
Yes, eventually.
Absolutely.
I'll
Yeah,
say
but
this. It'll be to add to that roadblock, I
sorry.
think it will be an interesting challenge for the devs, seeing where prices of components are going. So I'm wondering how they're gonna try mitigating that issue if they are even gonna try.
Oh yeah, that's a big problem these days. Holy hell.
Yeah, really. I remember because when I first got into building PCs, and like I learned about the specs and stuff, I've never really built a PC. It was around 2019, just before COVID-19, and then the GPU apocalypse happened. Immediately after that, we have Ramageddon, and
Yep,
then the
Ramageddon.
SSD shortage.
Yeah, it's really bad. And space or hard drive Mageddon. I think we got SSDs and M3s like $1,000 for 8 GB or something stupid.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
Pretty
mad.
bad.
Right, like I remember just before the SSD shortage hit, I bought a new SSD for my computer. It was about a 500 gigabyte Micron. Is it Micron? What's a commercial arm of Micron called again?
The commercial of Micron.
You're talking
Um,
about the gaming brand, right? I know what you're talking about. They shut
no,
that
like
down.
the chip maker who pulled out of gaming and like commercial stuff so they could do AI.
I'm not sure.
What was
I
it
don't
called?
know.
Micron. Micron is like the parent company, the big one. Let me look it up. SSD. I don't know. It's gonna take too long, you know. I'm gonna remember it after I hop off.
Yeah,
Watch.
it's like, oh yeah,
But yeah, it was the CX something something. I don't know. It was I got it for about £45, you know, for like brand new 500 gigabytes. It wasn't bad. And now 500 gigs is like over £100, or you know something stupid like that.
yeah, it definitely got
But I
inflated.
just look it up right now. Yeah, it's insane, and we can all thank the AI apocalypse for that.
Yay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't come up, but yeah, you know that's just how it is. I mean, there's always going to be roadblocks, right? But anyway, what kind of features do you want to see in the future then?
Yeah, we
In
talked about
BMS,
yeah, it was
Yeah, in
clouds,
BMS.
and then what was the other one? It was multi-crew.
more
Oh yeah,
more
multi-crew.
high
That's a
fidelity
good one.
aircraft as well.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, getting into
Yeah,
F-18, maybe some red stuff, some Sequoias or MiGs, kind of get into that realm because it's
I
nice.
do know they're working on a 29. They did pose some teasers early on.
Yes, they
So,
did. That was
Really?
about a year ago. It was a good bit from
yes,
now.
wow.
that was a while back.
And so, what kind of aircraft would you like to see then? If you could name like your top three.
Go on, Prime.
16 is pretty nice. I do like the 16. I would like to
Yeah.
see more upgraded 16s, like with the center display. So at
Yeah.
least the
The block 60 plus.
well, not quite the 60 plus, but they have the 50s and the 40s and the 30s for the United States Air Force. They have the center display where it's the center display unit, the CDU, and it has
Yeah.
instead of the 6-pack of instruments, it has the center display unit. So I would like to have that in BMS because we're moving on to more and more upgraded systems, and that'll give us an opportunity to have another screen to be able to put more stuff because right now we only have 2 screens. So that's something I really want that's in the scope of BMS when it comes to the block 60s and 70s. This probably might be a little out of scope of BMS, and more or less the aircraft is the same, but there's just more avionics and faster systems. For example, the radar, the IESA radar is something that would be really nice because they're starting to implement it in just regular block 50s and block 30s and block 40s. So that would be something else that's really nice, especially if they're going to start increasing the capabilities of enemy aircraft as well. So that's just a couple things I would like to see.
Yeah. For me, it's quite the opposite because I've always wanted to see the original F-16A, the ones with the old like calculator looking display
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they first shipped with. I've always been fascinated by those because they just look
We
so.
actually discussed that topic with when did we discuss it with Micro? When we had Micro one, we discussed the topic of the whole F-16A and how much of a bizarre thing that would be for a lot of people, myself included, if it ever comes about.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a whole project on it on the forums right now. Pull it up on the stream though, but I'll put it
Yeah,
in
I've seen.
in here.
I believe they already have 3D renders of it as well, so they
Yeah.
can show as well.
Yeah, I've actually looked them up. Yeah, I think there's like 3 different projects going on simultaneously, trying to bring back the F-16A.
I'm putting it in the
I know there's
general chat here.
two. Yeah, but we'll watch your career with great interest.
Yeah, we'll see.
Whoever's making the F-16A.
Yeah, whoever's making it. And it'll bring the Cold War type of people in, because DCS there's a huge Cold War community who flies like the A.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's debatable whether or not it's Cold War or not, but just the pre-70s or at 70s, like the latest for systems, is something that's kind of popular in DCS right now.
They have
I'd
a
imagine.
product that's interesting coming out. As much as I don't play DCS, but I am really impressed by what I've been seeing of the work that the company that's behind the F-100 is doing. That looks very impressive.
Yes, Grinelli.
Grinelli, yes.
Yes,
yeah.
F-100D, yes. I believe it's called the Super Hun. Isn't that their nickname?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Was that
think it's
the
something like that, yeah.
F-100?
Yep, that's the one.
And
Hmm.
so he went to the Flight Sim Expo in 2024. He'll be at this next one in 2026. So if you're going, he'll have a booth. I don't know what number it is, but he'll be there. So make sure you stop by his booth.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I'll probably have some live streams / podcast interviews, quick little interviews. So I'll definitely make some content. If you're not able to make it, I'll have some things there and definitely do some stuff like kind of like I did last time, but I wasn't as prepared to do all of that. But this time I'll definitely be prepared, and I'll be able to share my experiences with the Flight Sim Expo of 2026.
Nice.
Well, I for one will await it with great fanfare.
Yeah, it's great.
Did I use
What about
fanfare correctly? Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
What about so you were asking about people's favorite or dream like full fidelity for BMS? What would be your one, Kulasora?
For me, I think I agree with Prime. More modern F-16s would help. And also, I agree with you, Space Captain. I think older F-16s as well. Overall, more F-16s.
More
We
F-16s.
never have enough.
Yeah.
And I guess the F-18, because I enjoy flying the F-18. I see it in a similar camp of how the F-16 is. Very versatile. Has a modern systems, very similar to how the 16 functions. Obviously, it's carry based and one's land based. But yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the
That's cool.
F-18 too, to be fair. But you're right about the F-16s, though, in the sense, well, it's an F-16 simulator, isn't it? So I would surmise that adding different F-16s would be more feasible than anything else.
True.
And in that sense, one thing I really like about the F-16s you're describing, the one with the third screen, is that it has its own dedicated SMS screen. That I see it in the pictures, and with that, you could selectively jettison immediately after you encounter like an enemy, versus like how you usually do it when you have to fumble around with the buttons for like 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, it's like on the screen. You can see a little bit better.
Yeah. It's just well designed, Yeah, for a flight sim, it's really good.
And
I'm going to like my reservations about in real life.
Oh yeah, because they have some
like
they have some people with like a simulator like Viper Pilot and some other pilots that have basically a F-16 simulator like build in their garage or their upstairs or whatever, and they have all the components in there. And there's one of them that has the actual center pedestal screen in their cockpit, and it's cool to watch them in because they have all the software that the screen can pull up. So they have the TGP on there. They have your backup heading and backup altitude and all that stuff. And like you said, with the SMS page, you can put that on there too. But they do have it is available to be used and I think there's some third-party simulation software that allows you to use that screen in BMS right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually quite a thing, and that is quite interesting. It's that someone's actually managed to get the third screen operational, because I would have thought it would have been a limited factor in BMS purely because they only have the 2 screens.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, someone's doing it.
yeah. Anyway, I guess for number 2 and number 3, do you know that the funny thing is I had like this massive, not list, but I had everything in my mind that I was going to talk about when I came on here, and it's all just vanished.
Oh no. Yeah, it
But I
happens.
suppose for number 2, I would go with the F4 Phantom, because they already have the cockpit and stuff,
Yeah.
And number 3 would be the F-15A, for similar reasons with the the F-16A, just because it's a very it's interesting too in of itself, because it has the analog SMS instead of where they have that screen on the C model, that like little MFD looking thing.
Yeah.
They actually have like an analog SMS with like all of these switches, just like the F4 Phantom
Yep.
did. And that seems like it would be more feasible as well. Just like you wouldn't have to do as much to the existing aircraft, because I'd imagine the flight model's the same, right?
It's probably really, really close. It's maybe the different thrust levels, and it's weight difference and small little things, but flight model will probably be pretty much the same.
Yeah,
But you have to think,
but yeah. Sorry.
like if you're in the cockpit, and because I've noticed this with the F4, the F4, it has so many different buttons that you have to actually click. It's not on the HOTAS anymore. I can't change my station power or change what station I want to use the bombs with this a button on the HOTAS anymore. I gotta literally, in this case, grab the mouse, go to the panel, and switch a knob to go to station 7. Like it's a little bit harder to be able to use older aircraft because everything is not on the HOTAS like modern aircraft. So you need to grab your mouse sometimes, and that's not always feasible in the heat of the moment. So that'll be a an issue with some things.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's a good thing to allow other people to get more experience in other things and to have a type of newness, but it's also a bad thing because depending on how you're using it, if you're using it in a mission, you're not going to really have enough time to grab your mouse and change something, or you'll have to have some sort of uh, peripheral that models the F4 weapon system panel. So it's a little bit of both, good thing and bad, but it is nice to not have to buy $3,000 worth of hardware to use an airplane.
Yeah.
But it does open up the floor to other people to play.
As a Fiscus did, sorry for interrupting you.
They're good.
What? No, it's fine.
Oh, no, it's because the green came up. I thought you were going to say something, move everything forward. But I think that's basically it on my end then. So I think I might leave. Thanks for having me on your podcast, and well, good luck creating your YouTube videos. I really enjoy them.
Yep. No
Thank you.
worries. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
Appreciate you coming on. Yeah. We appreciate you joining us. And we hope you have a good PC to play BMS 4.38 here sooner rather than later.
By the time that happens, 4.39 is going to come out.
Maybe.
All right, then. Bye.
See ya. Thanks.
Get easy.
Yeah, put the screen or the video of its Ralph F-16 simulator. He has the center pedestal there, and I put it in the general chat here and showing it on the stream so people could see. But yeah, it is definitely a thing, and he's playing Falcon BMS, so it's not too far off. Let's see. I see Nitro Viper's here. So Nitro's here. He also agreed on the F4. Anything with 2 seats is a pipe dream of his. So yeah, like I said, with the multi-crew, not just for training, but for operations, where you have your WISO, your weapons system officer, or your radar sensor officer in the back doing radar systems. And even in modern aircraft, the F-16 with 2 pilots would be kind of neat. You can have the other pilot do some stuff while you just focus on flying.
Nitro, get your butt in the server and come join us and come tell us come tell people why you can't fly IFR.
Yep, double dog dare ya.
Yeah.
Oh, we got someone. Baku came in.
See here. Let's get him on then.
Yep.
Hey Baku, nice to meet you and thanks for coming along.
Oh, he left.
I guess no.
I guess it goes straight to the waiting room, I think. Maybe.
But I dragged them on here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think when you join the server, I think it might take you straight to the waiting room. That's
Oh yeah, I did that
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're on the spot now, Baku. So if you can put in the chat a question or something. So you did join in here, but if you don't want to, it's fine. But I do appreciate your joining the server and wanting to be a part of the podcast here. But yeah, Nitro Viper still, like, where you at? Where you at, buddy?
Yeah, come on.
I think Cloud 4565 says the F-16I, the Israeli version, Block 52 plus multi-crew will be really nice. Be pretty neat.
I think any variant multi-crew wise would be great, not only for tactical side of having a backseat or handling the weapons. I think even for me, most of all would be training, getting people
Yes.
getting people trained up. I think that would be absolutely would be incredible, training wise.
Yeah, because sometimes I've done training with the 6th, so you're of course flying in another airplane, training them, trying to train them up when landing or doing different maneuvers and formations, tack turns, and all that stuff. So it'll be really nice to be able to be in the airplane and give them visual cues, or at least note them of visual cues when it comes to especially tack turns. So you're turning, and you have to like tell them when you need to turn visually based on what azimuth you are of the other airplane. So if you are in the airplane they are in, you could say, hey, now is what you're supposed to be looking for. Now you can turn, and give them more of a visual cue with when in formation, because that's the like 90% of formation is visual cues, knowing how far you are away and when to turn and stuff. Have any of you done multi-crew in DCS? 'Cause I know there's a couple in there.
I have not. Not in DCS. I owned F-14, but it's one of those aircraft when I used to fly DCS that I got it. Shouldn't have bought it because I never got
Use it?
around to actually
Yeah.
use it. Yeah. So it was my bad on buying that. That's on me. I have tried, and it's debatable if you agree that this is an equivalent, but I have tried multi-crew in a VTOL VR.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's we're glad you brought that because VTOL VR is great. Sure, it's simplistic, but it's complex enough for all the techniques. Still very much
It has a
applied.
lot
Like
more
you still
depth.
use a BVR timeline to do your job.
It's a lot more complex than and in depth than a lot of people think and give it credit for, and it's a blast.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, never got around to that. I've seen people play it and talk about it a lot, but never really got it. Well, number one, I don't have VR, so that's that. But um, yeah, it's definitely a different dynamic, and I think it focuses on operations, not quite the system, not like the buttonology. It focuses on like you getting in there and actually doing stuff, whether rather than the
Yes.
buttonology and the cockpit and stuff.
Yeah, as mentioned,
Yep.
it's simplistic, but it's still like the systems involved are complex. Like it has like pretty well modeled RCS and like EW, and you have radios you can work with. Like it's
Even laser
I
codes
said
these
look,
days.
yeah, laser codes as well. I said it looks simplistic, but it's actually pretty complex if you actually like dive into it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people look at it and think, "Oh, this looks like a cartoon." It's not. It really
yes,
isn't.
You can still like loft, like all that still works. You still use, you know, your AIM 9s, AIM 7s, like all these things you'd expect still apply.
Absolutely.
But in terms of DCS, for me, the closest that I've done multi-role with is in a Huey, and I must say it's very, very useful in a Huey because some switches are hard to access when you're on like the right seat, and you know the switch is all the way on the left seat. So telling my co-pilot to hey flip that switch is a lot easier.
yes.
In the Huey, can you like jump from seat to seat like real quick? Just go on the left seat, go on the right seat, or is it basically you spawn on whatever seat you're locked into that one?
I'm pretty certain that you're locked into that seat. You can't switch seats.
Oh, it's not like the Tomcat then, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain because there's multiple seats. Because it's not just the co-pilot and the pilot. You also have like the gunner seats you can actually use.
Right.
But that might have changed. Last time I flew multi-crew was like 3 years ago, so it might have changed for that time. So maybe now you can switch seats. I'm assuming the latter, since you just mentioned you can do that in the 14.
Got it. Nitro Viper did reply. He said can't join, doing some work, but he does remember flying formations and tack turns with me. He had some fun in there. He says Prime, you need to try VTOL VR. It's crazy good. And I'm like, well, I need to get VR first. And
Need to
I'm
get a
not,
VR headset.
yeah, not quite in the path to go to that.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I mean, you do have good specs to at least run it on a PC, so
Yeah, yeah.
just need to get the headset. That's all. And I know it's not easy getting a headset, so it's fair.
These days, the headsets are much more even with their functionality. I think they're much better. The first headset I got was um, what was it? It was a HTC headset. I don't recall the model. But
Oh,
I
was it
needed to have
Vive?
like it was one of the it was a HTC Cosmos Elite or whatever it was. But it
Oh,
back
okay.
back then I needed to have like set up those base stations and all that. And these days, most
Yep.
headsets just can work just fine without that thing, because that was a problem. Like, where are you gonna
Yep.
set them up and how and all that stuff? And now you just don't need them. It's fine.
Yep.
There even are
Similar.
many of them are wireless these days, which is very nice.
Yes. Similar path for me. I started with the Oculus Rift CV1. And similarly, you have to set up the base stations and all that. And then I moved on to a Reverb G2. And that had inside out tracking. But it was still wired. You still had to like plug it into your GPU for it to work.
Right.
And now I'm on the Quest 3, and that you can use wirelessly. It actually works pretty well wirelessly. Obviously, a direct connection is preferred, but you can still very much manage without having that cable. So who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe now the form factor will get smaller and it'll be like the size of glasses. We are starting to see that with the big screen beyond. So maybe
Mhm.
in the future, fingers crossed, it will get more affordable, and who knows? Maybe it'll be easier to run on PCs by the time that happens. Because that is an issue now. The VRAM, as mentioned, you need a lot of that to run it with the high fidelity and high resolution.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, Nitro Viper saying Oculus CV1. I guess that's what he has, and
Yes.
he likes the hand tracking, so you can track your hands and stuff. So that is pretty sweet.
Oh that Quest 3 hand tracking is very good. I need to experiment using that with virtual desktop, because with that software, you can have pass through. So if you're like using an MFD, you can have the headset track where your hands is, and it'll be like a little like window into the real world that you'll see.
Oh,
So if you have like a
Mixed
physical
reality type
cockpit,
thing.
yeah, mixed reality, exactly. So if you don't have like a full F-16 cockpit, you can at least use whatever MFDs you have and still see what you're pressing. I think actually that's another potential path, mixed reality. I mean, I've seen some YouTubers, one direction was that video you showed. Another direction is something like what was his name? The Viper Simmer. It's
yeah,
a perfect example.
yeah,
That's the direction he went with mixed reality.
yeah, yeah. The mixed reality is it's a game changer. So he used to have the the projector screen on
Yep.
a thing in front of him. Now he just has reality where he has his cockpit would show up in he has his VR headsets on. His cockpit would be the cockpit, so he could see his hands, and then outside the cockpit, simulating the outside world, it would show the outside world.
Yep.
Bring up a video so our listeners and viewers, we're not just a podcast now, so I can actually show stuff. But yeah, it's something that BMS is going towards, and I don't know if everybody's going to have their own F-16 cockpit in their garage, but it's an option for those who do have those in their garage.
Let's see. We can only dream. I can only dream, at least.
And here I have someone asked Cloud 4565. He said about helicopters. So he says, "What do you guys think about helicopters in BMS? I think flying an Apache / Cobra in the dynamic campaign would be amazing." So it would be amazing, and I think
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Bible Clinger
There-
had a little bit of that in that years ago now. But yeah,
I was just gonna mention that it was janky, but it was cool to see the idea of what could be. If someone were to like take it really, really seriously and try to modify the engine to allow for that.
yeah, and it
But yeah,
was.
I agree with you, Cloud. That sounds like fun.
We had some dynamic campaign missions with when Bible Clinger had it was a custom made campaign, so you had to download the campaign to make it work and stuff. And he would be the Cobra or the Apache on the front lines, and we would do air support over him. And it was different because he was doing stuff down there. He would see contrails and missile smoke above him, and he just do his own thing, and we would just protect him from any aircraft in the area. So that was really fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
the
it'd be nice. Helicopters in general be nice to have. Even transport helicopters, to be honest, be nice to have.
yeah.
To ferry stuff around, supplies, troops. That'd be nice, I think.
That'd be pretty sweet. So we're coming up on
If they can pull that off or not,
yeah.
that's a different matter.
We're coming up on 2 hours, so we can probably start wrapping it up a bit, but talk about a couple more topics. But I do appreciate everyone. I've got 24 people watching, so I do appreciate everyone coming in and being in our first live stream podcast. If you are unaware of the podcast, usually we are audio only. We are on Aviation Plus YouTube channel. You can just the Simulated Airspace. We are also on Spotify, so if you just want to download the episode and listen to it when you don't have internet, that is also an option. So make sure you check those out. We have another 9 episodes. This is episode 10. So we wanted to do something a little bit different for episode 10, and here we are doing a live stream. I do appreciate everyone coming out and listening. So we're still here. If you have any more questions, put it in the chat. We'll answer them in there as we can. And I just do want to appreciate everyone coming. I'm looking at the video that Viper Simmer has. He said that that purple line does not come up in reality. So that's kind of neat
Yes.
to see. Yeah.
That what essentially he's doing is he's in the in game, right? What it's essentially doing is taking whatever is purple and replacing that with the pass through. So that's why that purple line is the thing. And obviously purple is not a common color in the F-16 or real life, so that's why using purple.
It could be, you could probably change it to black and it'll just look so much better. Like you can have it purple, you can have it purple if you want to adjust it and see physically where it is, and then you can like switch it to black when you're using it so you don't even see it anymore.
That'd be interesting.
So yeah, that's pretty sweet. So yeah, if you're unaware of Viper Simmer, check out his channel. He has hundreds of videos. He created his own cockpit with real life screens, real life sensors, or not sensors, real life dials and stuff. So if you unaware, just check out his channel. It's pretty cool. Pretty sweet. So I'm wondering what kind of stuff I don't play DCS very often. I don't really play it very much. But if there are any DCS questions in there you want to ask what our opinions are of other things, we'll be happy to answer it best we can. But I played DCS a couple times in a big server, not a server, but a big mission. I was with other people who create missions every so often, and I was in their mission. And I did, the first thing I noticed was that the briefing, the ability to brief and interact with your flight path and put down your threat circles and all that stuff in that sense, and really edit your DTC is like not a thing in DCS. Like vanilla to the DCS software. You can get other things, download stuff, you could do other things like that, but like when it's actually in the game of DCS, you can't really do that. And during briefing, we talked about it earlier today, where it kind of hurts you when it comes to giving the briefing and changing your steer points and knowing what actually you're going after, and being able to in BMS there's a recon ability. You can recon an area and see what the area is like in like a top-down view to see exactly what you're hitting, where the mountains are, and actually like a satellite view of what you're getting at. So that's when I first started getting to DCS. That's something I really noticed has the lack of stuff in DCS when it comes to planning. And then the gameplay is the same, but it's different. Mostly because the sensors are different. The SAMs have different brains, so they do different things. So all that's different. So you have to use different tactic when it comes to the AI and what the SAMs do and the missiles capabilities and all that stuff. But it's definitely a different learning curve when you're going from BMS to DCS or even DCS to BMS, and one of them might have a larger learning curve than the other. We can talk about that all day, but that's my kind of introduction to DCS. I've been playing it for 10 years off and on, but I really do want to start getting into it because it's really nice, and I like being able to fly something else and compare BMS with something. But yeah. And since Fiscus, you do have the Phantom, so I have the Phantom too. So maybe one day.
No, I don't have the Phantom. I have the Tomcat.
The Tomcat. Okay, I do not have the Tomcat. But I do have the Phantom, and I'm wanting to fly with somebody because it's really cool. I've done a couple of single player try to get a missile off, and it's super difficult because I guess they model the failure rate of the AIM 7 because usually it just doesn't work.
Did they?
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
And also, it's not a pulse Doppler radar, so if there's like clouds in the way, it's gonna pick that up.
Oh
Pick
yeah,
up
it'll
the
get
ground.
confused. Yep.
Yep.
So about half the time it's like a hit or miss if your missile will hit or not.
Guns, guns, guns.
And yeah, you got to go guns, 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 and then with the MiGs, the MiG 15s and MiG 17s, you're not gonna outturn a MiG. You're just not in an F4. So I think there's real tactics that Vietnam would use. They would just fly past the MiGs. So instead of turning and getting into a turning fight with a MiG, you would just fly past them and just not even worry about them because they can't catch up. So that's that.
I will say that with the F4, it's very much a rate fighter. And I find that with it being a rate fighter, a lot of the philosophies are somewhat similar to how you would fight with a 16, right? You don't want to constantly yank on the stick with a 16. Same thing with the F4. You don't want to constantly yank on the stick for the F4, or else you go too slow and can't accelerate as fast.
Yeah.
Exactly with the 16. You have to be in that certain envelope of the knots, like not envelope, like 300, 350 range. You want to stay in that. Similarly with the F4, you want to be at a certain speed so that you could keep on rate fighting.
Yep. And that thing, it wants to stall all
Yeah,
the
Nitro
time.
Viper says, we have flown the Jamcat, which is something in VTOL VR, which is basically the F4, the F-14, but modernized for EW role.
Yeah.
And the backseater on there is like almost indispensable, pretty much, to manage everything.
Yes.
But the backseater is not able to fly.
Yep, backseat is pretty much a very fancy Wizzo. That's what it is.
Yep. It's the EW officer, pretty much, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's more accurate.
EW officer. Is it how much customization do you like choose what you jam, or is it more of like a slew the radar to this direction?
So there's multiple
You choose what you
types
jam,
of
how you
jamming.
jam it.
Yes. So there's what we know as noise, right? That's a common one. There's a type of jamming where we can tell or make the enemy aircraft think we're a certain type. So we can make them think we're in a helicopter or whatever aircraft. And then there is DSM. And if I remember, that's just used so that you can kind of trick the missile. So it's like, hey, I could be here, I could be there, I could, constantly moving yourself around.
It's been a while since I've flown VTOL VR, but like you can't be using the same type of jamming all the time, and a lot of or several of those missiles have home on jam capabilities, so that's something to account for.
That's the cool part. There's energy, so you can't just keep it on forever. You have to adjust or time how often you're using it. And similarly, kind of in DCS as well, there's like a burn through rate. So let's say the radar is jammy, you could get close enough and still use your radar and engage it. As I said, I think we mentioned it before, looks simplistic, but very complex.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, now I remember. It's DRFM.
DRFM,
and what it does is receives the incoming pulses, modifies them, and then retransmits it back. So it's making you think it's a location you're not at.
Yeah, DRFM.
DRFM, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it just receives what it just spits out, just repeats it, but a different way. I'll put you somewhere else.
Yeah. So
and Prime, I'm not sure if you're aware, VTOL VR has a helicopter in there.
Ooh. Is it an attack helicopter, I'm guessing?
Yes. It's like an Apache / Comanche combination.
Oh.
It's very fun.
Exactly. And there's also a trainer aircraft in there that looks like a
It's like a T5.
Uh,
It's like an
it's-
F-16. It
I
looks
would-
like an F-16.
Oh,
Kinda, but I would equate it more to that aircraft that the South Koreans use for training, the T-50 or the F-50 or whatever it's called.
oh yeah. The
I think it's more
it
similar
looks
to
like
that.
the T7 that the Air Force just got. Somewhat similar.
Yeah, that'd be more accurate. Yeah.
Yep. And that one you can fly it from the back. You can like be a straight up instructor and say, "Hey, look, give me. I have the controls, and just take over." You can also just be like the backseater using the TGP and handling weapons. Like there's a lot of flexibility with that aircraft too.
Yeah. But it is a light aircraft, so obviously you can't carry as much. But, you know, you can still
Yep.
use it like a light strike roll or light fighter roll if you really want it to.
That's true. And then you have the the not F-35, which is the F-45,
Yeah.
and then the not F-15, which is the F-26 B,
Oh,
which
yeah. I think we
basically you can
mentioned
carry
this.
like 50 AMRAAMs or something. I don't recall.
50.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, it's not 50, but I'm pretty sure it's upwards of like
It's a lot.
14
It's a lot.
AMRAAMs.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's still a
Sounds
lot.
right.
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah, about the F-45A or the fake F-35, they actually have like the radar cross section modeled. So if you
Sure.
don't like have any external pylons, you're only using the internal ones, you could very much be stealthy, you know, get close to those ground radars and do pop-up attacks on them. It's very well modeled. It also has the touchscreen. That's the fun part. It has the big touchscreen you'd see on the F-35. So you can actually like click on it with your hands, virtual hands.
Yeah. Did you? I can never like get around to I could never get around to the feel of flying of actually controlling
Yes.
the helicopter. I just suck at it. I'm terrible.
The
I love the
problem
gunner seat.
is,
I hate being
yeah,
on the front seat and or no, actually the other way around. I hate being the back seat because that's traditionally the pilot's spot on the attack
yes.
helicopter. But yeah,
I
I
will
suck at it with
say
the torque and all that stuff.
the big problem with VTOL VR is not necessarily the game itself. It's just the reality is you're using the controllers to
Yeah.
fly the aircraft. It's not like a traditional HOTAS. You probably have an X, Y button and a joystick or a D-pad, whatever controller you're using, and that's it. So the most feedback you get is maybe the small rumbles you get as you move the stick and throttle, but that's really it.
Yeah.
So it is
Which for
tough if
work
you're like doing aero to air refueling and like trying to do BFM.
even flying formation.
That too.
But I guess for what they're going for, I guess that makes sense. With how it behaves. But yeah, I can see why certain people get turned off by it just by the simple fact of, oh, I can't use a HOTAS with this, so no, thank you.
Yep. There are mods that allow for it, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And it is manageable. I mean, you just have to practice. At the end of the day, that's what it is, right? You have to practice with the tools you have to get good
Mm-hmm.
at it and be able to do the things that we need to do. Which is why as that person came in, he's able to do this with a controller and a keyboard, you know? If I were to do it, it would be hard for me. But if you gave me a month, 2 months, then I'd probably back to where I was.
I used to be there when I first started flying Falcon 4 back in the day. I flew mouse and keyboard. This was like in 2001 or something.
Wow.
But yeah, I used to be
Let's
a
see,
mouse
when
and
I
keyboard guy.
started, I had what was called the Thrustmaster HOTAS X. So it was like a very simple joystick. It had one hats and it was full trim and only had like 10 buttons. So I was using the stick to like fly it, and I was using the keyboard for all the HOTAS functions. So yeah, very similar. But yeah, we gotta start somewhere, as we say.
Yeah. My first one was, I don't even recall what it was. I think it had like one hat, I think, that I used to look around my first joystick. And the throttle was just a little slider on the side of the stick. It was so bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it sucked to refuel with that throttle. I remember vividly when I went from that to an X56, and my God, it was a night and day difference.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, oh, no more upgrades. I'm good to go. And then I got the Virpil stuff, and I'm like, yo, this is like so new. This is great. This feels great. I'm never gonna upgrade again. I bet 5, 10 years from now, there's gonna be some new tech that's gonna make me want to upgrade again.
With now that you bring up the Virpil stuff, and I know we're getting a little bit like over the time we thought we
Yep.
would, but I would like to get your feedback on the Virpil quality of their stuff. I heard that they have some problems with customer support. A lot of people complain about that. Like, what's your
Really?
overall feedback about that?
For me, I've only had good experiences with Whirlpool. Their quality, as you mentioned, it's very good. Like like from the touch, it feels very nice. It's a nice metal finish they have. I've had them for roughly 4 years. I haven't experienced a single problem with them. Like it's been amazing. And the throttle is very nice. Feels very smooth. As I said, even after 4 years, still feels brand new. And the cool thing is it comes with detents. So I have it set up kind of like how an F-16 does. So I know when I'm an afterburner and when I'm what's the word? When I'm not an afterburner, I guess. It has like a lot of buttons you could use, a lot of switches.
Yeah,
Has a
that's
lot
pretty
of
cool.
levers. Like there's one to adjust the flaps. I don't really use it. I really use it for like zooming in and out. But yeah, it's very. I don't have any complaints.
Good.
And like customer service was good. The only quote unquote bad thing with Ripple is the wait time of when you order something. So when I ordered mine, it took me like a month and a half, 2 months for it to reach. But my opinion, I think it's worth the wait. Waiting 2 months to get it when you order it.
Right. Uh, I know there's a lot of people that also use Winwing, and I'm not sure about that one either.
For Winwing, I don't have their HOTAS, but I do have the F-16 ICP and the
Mhm.
MFDs. And I must say, it's really fun to use. I fly the F-16 a lot, and it is very useful. I love the ICP. It is great. Same thing with the
Good
MFDs.
quality
MFDs
build
are
and all
also
that
great.
stuff.
Quality, yeah, it felt good. The buttons were admittedly a little mushy, but that's something you could get over pretty quickly.
Right.
Only had them for roughly a year, so in terms of like long term, I don't know. But yeah, I'm enjoying them so far. The only annoying thing is the software suite. I'm not a really big fan of the software they have. Like it is a pain to update the hardware. But yeah, overall, I can't complain.
Let's see. Uh, the I still have the same stick and throttle I've had for a while now, a few years now, which is the Thrustmaster Warthog.
Oh yeah, that thing is still good. I still hear good reviews on that thing. How long
It's
has
pretty
it?
solid.
How long have you been making it for? Like it's been making it for ages.
I think it's been a while since like, oh, I don't even know, but I'm pretty sure it was developed for like specifically for the A10 and DCS.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So it's been
I,
around.
I got mine in 2016, so it's been a bit. It's at least 10,
Yeah.
10 years, and they've probably started making it
Wow.
before then. So still the
Let me
same
quickly
And then they
Google
came
setup.
out
release date.
with the F16 one with the
Yeah, the
F16
Cougar.
throttle.
Oh yeah, I
No,
got
no, I'm
that.
talking about Thrustmaster.
Yeah,
Based
recently.
on Google AI, it said it came out in 2010,
Sounds about right.
replacing
Wow.
the older HOTAS Cougar.
Oh yeah.
Wow, it's been that long. It's still kicking. Wow.
Yeah, it's still kicking. Still
Yeah.
$500.
Probably one of their most successful products of flight sims.
$500. Yes. I know they have the new Ava base. I think you have that, right, Prime? The
Yeah,
Ava
I got
base?
the Ava. Yeah. Got the Ava. It's if you want that, if you want to upgrade your Thrustmaster Warthog base, Ava is a good product to get if you want to stay with Thrustmaster. If you don't want to stay with Thrustmaster, Winwing or Wind Control now is also good as well, and it's cheaper. So yeah,
Yeah, we could say we're eating good as flight simmers.
Yep.
A lot of options.
Yeah.
alrighty. I think it's been about 2.5 hours or so. So I think that's pretty good for our first episode. Had a lot of people in here giving their questions, a couple of guests, and I do appreciate all you guys still here with this. So we'll do this again whenever. I don't even know, but I did want to do a little test and see what the live stream would be like, and I do miss live streaming because it's fun with the community, and it's always good to interact with the community in a live type of sense.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been great.
Alrighty, if you guys any last words you want to say, or and I'll just kind of end it here.
I think
say this.
for me, it was very good. I really enjoyed this little experiment we had with live streaming. I hope we'll do it again at some point. And yeah, thank you all for coming along. Thanks for Kulasota for joining us for a lot of this episode. And thank you all for watching the episode. Yeah.
Yep, thanks. All right.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
See y'all. Thanks for coming, and we'll stay in here for a little bit.
Bye, everyone.
I'll mute the mic. You can say your stuff in the chat, but I'll mute the mic, and we'll end it up in like 60 seconds or something. So see ya, and thanks for coming.